Alright guys, let me show you where we're at here. Here's the coil that came out of that FH, and it's not bad. I don't remember if it's primary or secondary, but it's bad. And let me put it here and put a light on it. Maybe you guys could see it. There we go. I'll get my little pointer. But right here, something dug into it and put a cut in the wire, and it's just enough to ruin the coil. Get a dead short. Not short, but I mean a cut in the wire and it's gone. And what I have here is another coil. It was given to us. It was given to me and Mike about a year or so ago by a friend of ours. You know, because he didn't need it. And this is actually out of a different motor. This is out of a Y. This one's out of an FH, 1928 FH. And this one's out of a Model Y, probably late 30-ish or so. But they're different, but you can still use them. Let me show you here. On this one here, this here is a stud that it mounts on. You just sit on a stud, and these are the 4 holes that bolt it to the mounting plate. Now on the later one here, on the Y, this has a center hole, and I'm assuming that's for a bolt. I'm trying to turn this for you because I'm reversed here. Alright, so there, the thing they use for a stud over there, they actually bolt on with here, and the 2 end things they use to rivet the coil together. So to make it work, and it's actually pretty good, because where they rivet it here are actually the mounting bolts for this one. So what you'd have to do is pop these rivets out and rivet it from here. I guess you couldn't do that because that's you'd have to use a stud. I guess you just have to do it without the rivets. Yeah, just take the rivets out and bolt it in. But let me show you something. It's funny because even back then, look at the thickness here. I'm going to try and put this up to the camera. The 1928 is 50% thicker than the Y. And like I say, I don't know what year that is, but it's a much newer model. So even back then, you know, they said, well, geez, do we really need that much metal? And you can feel the difference in weight too. But anyway, this one here, one of them has a bad primary, and the other one has a bad secondary. So both of these coils are bad. We're just going to have to rewind them, and I'll just rewind this one. That way I don't have to do anything with the rivets. But anyway, that's where we are with the coil. Now, let me show you what we're going to do today. Let me get this out of the way. Here's the head and the valves. Now Mike took that one valve. This is the intake, and the intake, like I said, was pretty good. You know, I probably don't even have to lap that, but I'm gonna anyway. And here's the exhaust valve. And the exhaust valve was shot. You know, I mean, it was really pitted around the edge, and Mike made it beautiful. You know, but he came right to the edge, so he couldn't go any further. But it's enough for what we need. And I'm gonna lap these in today. Let me see. I'm going here. Yeah. See how nice it is? Look at that. Flops up and down. Remember how tight that was? And here's the intake. So we're going to lap these in today. Also, what I like to do is here's that bell that it's your governor. You know, this little hunk of it's actually wood that sticks on there, and that pushes your governor, pushes your throttle, gives you a little more RPM. But anyway, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a piece of wood and it's cracked, and they had tied it together here with some it's like baling wire or something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to reproduce that. And instead of using wood, I'm going to use a high temp plastic that's supposed to work real good on the lathe. But another thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned earlier, I told you guys it looked like this was broke, you know, because it actually looks like these are nails, you know. Looked like somebody had rigged it up, you know. And I said these things are supposed to have little knobs on the end so this stuff don't fall apart. But Mike had taken early ones like this apart and told me that's the way they are. And if you think about it, I mean, you really don't need anything holding that on, because, you know, this is how it goes. This is just a little arm, and that goes to your throttle. So when all this stuff is bolted on, there's no way for any of this stuff in here to fall out. And I had thought they had knobs because here's a different flywheel that works on there, and they did away with the bell and they use this maybe for counterweight, maybe to make it run a little better. But I don't know if you can see these. I see we got a lighting problem here, but you see like the little knobs on the top of there. So this version, you know, this stuff can't come out. There's no way this stuff can fall off. So that's what made me think that was broke, but that's actually this one is perfect. It's going to function perfect. So what we're going to do, like I say, is try to duplicate this. Let me show you the plastic I got for that. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I have a piece, this is a long piece of plastic, and it's supposed to be able to work real nice on the mill. It's called Acetol or something like that. Pretty pricey. It was 35 bucks for this piece. It's only 2 foot. But I'm sure I'll use it for other things. And they said regular plastic, you know, goes around, it gets gummy and stringy and stuff like this, and this stuff here mills and lathes and machines just like metal just about. And this is 2-inch, and this piece here is just slightly under 2-inch. So I'm just going to cut it down a little bit, and it looks like you know, I mean, the weight, I'm sure the weight has something to do with it, but I think it's probably going to be close enough that it'll work. So I just have to cut this, mill it down a little bit, and bore a hole with it. So that's and then put these two. It's got 2 little tabs, 2 little pieces of metal here. And I think they're 3/32. That's what holds this in that place. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate that. And if it's too heavy or something, I doubt it. We'd make it out of wood. But I think we'll be okay. All right, so let's do something. Let's lap them valves first, huh? All right, I pulled a couple of these cans off the shelf here. This lapping compound, and I thought they were pretty interesting. I'll probably use this one here. It's a tiny little can. You can tell by the size of my hand. But the top half is coarse, and the bottom half is fine. And it's Clover. That's one of the biggest names in lapping compound. And I would say this can might be 40 years old, because I remember using it when I was a kid. And there you go, $2.83 for that. What was interesting is Briggs & Stratton. Has a part number and everything, you know, and it's Clover. But Briggs & Stratton actually put their name on it. So that's pretty good. We're going to use probably the fine, because them things are in good shape. But I was looking at this, and this one's pretty interesting. And it actually tells you what the grade is. But, like right here. And I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell where it is, you know, and they have 12 different grades. I know you guys aren't going to be able to see this. I'll zoom in, it might get blurry. But anyway, there's 12 grades, and it tells you, you know, 4A is super fine at 600 grit. It goes all the way down, you know, 3A, 5A, and then A, B, C, D, and it tells you the grits of all of them. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna have to open it up and just guess, you know, fine or coarse. But then I look on the top of the can here, and actually embossed on the lid. I didn't clean it off yet, but there it is, 3A. So that's this is actually pretty fine. This is 500 grit. Yeah, we're not gonna go that fine, but I thought that was interesting. You know what's cool is, like I say, this can's gotta be 50, 60 years old maybe. You know, you're not gonna find any UPS symbols on there or websites or anything like that on both of these cans, and this label is actually painted on. That's pretty cool. And the stuff is still good. Almost lasts forever. It's gonna outlast me. I'm sure this belonged to my father at one time. That's how I inherited it. But pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, open the can up here. Here's a fine. You can see the oil rises to the top there, you know, and you stir it up. I don't think I have much left, but this for Briggs engine probably lasts forever. Outlast me anyway, right? That's all I have to do. Try and keep you in view there. And you can see it's as good as new. Alright. After about 40 years, I had to buy myself a new one of these, a new valve lapper tool here, a little suction cup. My old one finally dried out and cracked and was useless, but they last quite a while. So now all you got to do is put a little moisture on the tip there and stick it on the valve, and that'll hold your valve for you. And then, so I'm going to try and stay in frame here for you. There we go. And just put it around the edges. You don't need much. Oh, there's too much there. Somebody's hollering. I hear somebody hollering. I got too much on there. Okay, and just make sure you got it in the right hole. This is the intake. I'll have my, there we go, center that a little bit. Okay. Try and keep my hands out of here. You can actually hear it. And then it gets real smooth, a little gritty. Smooths out a little bit. Okay, it shouldn't take too much because it was actually in pretty good shape. So let me do this a little bit and then we'll get back to you. Alright, I've only done it for about a minute or two, and where you at here? You can see like where it's a dull gray around here. These probably should have been cut, but you know, they were seating so well I wasn't gonna mess with them. And then you can see the seat itself. You know, it's like a dull gray finish, but it's got a nice. You don't want to get too much grit on here. I didn't get any on there, so I'm okay. But if you do, just wipe it off. But didn't take much. I don't seat it right up. All right, let's do the other one. All right, on this one you're gonna see it because you're gonna get a line across here, and it's gonna be like a gray dull finish, and that's what you want. And we'll see what it does to the seat itself. I'm still here. Everybody, for some reason, everybody likes to see lapping. Really nothing to it. Not exciting, but everybody likes to see it. Like I said, this is fine. If it was coarse, they'd probably cut a little too fast. Oh, we'll get you. We'll get you there, buddy. All right. Take a quick look, see what it looks like. Huh. Just that little bit. Let me show you guys. Where you at? Come over here. Hey, hey, over here. Okay. There you go. It's a little clearer right there. You see that line around there? That's your seat. That's your seat, buddy. Okay. I don't think I have to do any more, but if I do, let's see what it looks like in here. And that cleaned up nice. And if there's any imperfections, you can see them. They jump right out at you. But that's pretty good. All right. Enough of that.